going to see chapter number 3, money and inflation. Money and inflation. In this chapter, we are going to learn about money related function of the money, and how does inflation arise in the economy. Okay, before see that thing, money is also related to barter system. See, in older time, the people were used to exchange goods and service. Their wants were limited, and they were not used to go out of the village too much. So there was the wants of the human being was very limited. So that was satisfied by exchanging goods and service. And in a olden time, there were no money. So the barter system was there in a olden period. But because of the industrialization, urbanization, and due to socio-economic changes in the society, there was the demand of the people were increased, and because of the increased demand, the exchange of goods and service was not possible due to the different product. So because of that, there was a limitation of barter system, and the need of the money were arised. Okay, so before we see money and definition of money and function of money, let's try to understand the barter system. So here, as we know, the barter system is a system of exchange where goods or services are directly exchanged for other goods and services without using a medium of exchange such as money. So in a older time, the money was not there. Then also people were used to exchange goods and service with other goods and service. So that is called barter system. See here, try to understand the thing with the help of example. Let's say the farmer is producing wheat. That wheat is going to exchange for what he wants. He is going to satisfy his wants with the help of wheat. So he is going to go to shoes maker and going to ask for shoe. He is going to go for cloth shop and going to exchange his wheat with a cloth. So his all the demand were satisfied with the production of wheat, because there were no money. So they were exchanging goods from goods and goods from service. So there was an exchange of goods and service in the economy without use of money. It is called barter system. So this is the definition of a barter system. Okay. So as the time goes, because before people were living village life, simple life, there were limited. Their wants were limited. So here there were no arise of question of exchange of goods and service through one and another. But later on, because of urbanization and globalization, what happened that barter system become limited. So there was a limitation of a barter system, and because of the limitation of barter system, what happened? People were not used to satisfy their demand from exchanging with the other. So these are the some limitation of barter system. Let's say very first limitation of barter system is issue of mutual adjustment of wants. See here what happened, there was an issue of mutual adjustment. If let's say here one farmer called farmer A, he is producing wheat, and there is another person is a pot maker, he is making the pot. But what is happening that the farmer wants pot, but the pot maker don't want wheat, he wants the rice. So there was an issue of mutual adjustment, because the pot maker don't want the wheat and he wants the rice. time, it can get spoiled, and maybe sometime what happen, due to happen, and it can get wheat, the wheat is going to be spoiled. So because of all the because of the storing value, the whatever the person is storing, that is not going to last for another period. So for that is the another limitation of a barter system, is a storing value of the produced thing. The third is a problem of measurement of a value. See here what is happening. If a farmer has produced wheat and he wants, let's say he wants shoes. So for one pair of shoes, how many kg of wheat he is supposed to exchange to the shoemaker? That was again the next problem. Shoemaker can say that I want 10 kg of wheat in exchange of one pair of shoe. But the wheat producer, the farmer, can say that no, I will be giving you only 7 kg. So that will be the another question. So what is the measuring rate? How we can measure the shoe against wheat, or let's say wheat against the clothes, or clothes against the shoe? We cannot make any particular measurement due to there was no universal applicable any measurement of the exchange of the goods and service. So because of the another limitation called the measurement value was the problem. So because of this, again this limitation, there was a need of a universally applicable one measuring rod. And because of all the limitation of the barter system, there is a need of a common acceptable measuring unit, and that's why there is a need of a money. And because of all the limitation of barter system, money was invented in the economy. So these are the points, student, you are supposed to write, note down in your notebook. We have seen there is a limitation of barter system, and because of the limitation of barter system, there was a need of the universally acceptable medium of exchange. For that, as we know that our economy was 70% people were dependent on the agriculture. So mainly medium of exchange and medium of storage was crops. So the first medium of exchange was crop, and from that the remaining stock crop were used to store, and later on it was used as a medium of exchange. But because of the limitation of crop can get spoiled, and because of that people understood that crop cannot be stored, it can get spoiled, and the people can strive for that. So because of limitation of that, people accepted another medium of exchange called animal. And later on, whatever remained crop were there, it was exchanged against the animal. And when there was a need of the things, whatever want was there, it was again exchanged by the animal. Animal like cow, buffalo, horse, camel were used to store by the people, and later on it was exchanged against the mutual one. So there was another thing was animal. But slowly people have come to know that animals are mortal, and it can also get sick and die. And because of that, animal was not used to stay for a long period of time, and people understood that there was a need of another medium of exchange, and they have accepted another thing called valuable stone as a medium of exchange. That stone, as we know that stone is a non-living thing, and it cannot be dyed, and it can store and exchange again whenever people need. So they accepted medium of exchange and also coins as a medium of exchange for a particular area. But if one wants to go out of that kingdom, then again there was a limitation. So this valuable stone and coin were used to accepted in a particular place. It was not universally acceptable, and because of that there was the need of another medium of exchange. And after democracy and urbanization, there was another thing arise called currency note, which was universally acceptable. So the currency note which we are using nowadays, it was come into the existence like this. So these are the origin and development of money. This is how money was invented and arise in the economy. Now we are going to see the definition and function of the money. The meaning of money. According to Marshall, money is that medium which is used as a means of exchange without any doubt or investigation, regardless of time and place. So here money was universally accepted without any doubt or investigation. There is no need of doubt that with the help of money we can exchange goods and service, and there is no need to investigate that the currency has future exchange value or not. As we know that in the future, if we are going to exchange now crop against the money, and in the future with that money we can satisfy our whatever wants is there. So money is a universally accepted medium of exchange without any doubt or investigation, regardless of what. So time as well as place. So money we don't have to investigate regardless of time or place. So this is the definition given by the Marshall. Again we are going to see the definition of Robertson. So Robertson has cleared about the money that what is accepted universally in exchange of goods and service is called money. So here whatever we are going to exchange and it is accepted by universe, it is called money. So these are the definition given by some economists, and from this definition we can see some function of money. So here we already discussed the limitation of barter system, and from the limitation of barter system only we can see the function of money. So here very first function of money is a medium of exchange. So here whatever we want to exchange, we can exchange without any problem. As we see in a barter system, what was happen that if the farmer was having wheat and shoemaker was having shoes, so in a barter system what happened, that farmer want the shoes but the shoemaker doesn't want the wheat. So the exchange was not possible because the shoemaker was asking for rice and something else, and the farmer was having wheat. So exchange was not possible. That was possible here because there was a money in the economy. So the farmer can exchange his wheat with money, and with that money he can buy shoe from anybody, and shoemaker can take the money from the farmer and he can take anything from the other people. So money make the exchange of goods and service easier than the before. So this is the very first function of money. The second function of money is as a store value. As we discussed that animal were mortal and it was used to die, and the storing value of the animal was not possible. Here, because the money can be saved for a future wants, so all the farmers were used to exchange their goods against money, and that money can be saved for a later want. So here the storing value of money was possible, and that was the second function of money. farmer wanted to give 7 kg of wheat, but the shoemaker wanted 10 kg of wheat. So there was a problem of measurement for how many kg of wheat, how many pair of shoes can we buy, or from two pair of shoes, how many meter of cloth can be exchanged. So there was a question of measuring value of the things or service. So here, with the help of money, there was a universally accepted value was that of the money. So the exchange exchange of goods and service become more easier than the before. So it was a very important function of money, and because of this, all the function of money, the money was accepted as a universally, and regardless of any time and place, money accepted by the people as a medium of exchange, as a store value, and as a measuring value. Okay, from about discussion, we can say that there are 6 types of money till today. So very first money was commodity money. That means the farmer was used to exchange the crop against the goods. That is called commodity money. After that, because of the crop limitation of crop, there was a existence of animal money, and after the animal money, the people were used to use the metal money, and after that there was a currency notes. It is called paper money, and after that the new money invented was a plastic money. Plastic money means cards, debit card, credit card, ATM card, etc. And the last invention of money is a banking money, that is a transfer from one account to another account. It is also called invisible money or e-money. So these are the types of money that we have seen today. Now we are going to see the inflation. Okay, inflation means if money are more in the economy and goods supply is less in the economy, is called inflation. When too much money is changing to few goods is called inflation. We can understand it better way. See, when there is a too much demand of goods in the market, but goods is less and money is more. So what is going to happen? The price of goods is going to be rise. So the constant rise of a price is called inflation. So accordingly, from economics, we can see the definition of inflation. According to Dr. A.P. Lerner, a situation of excess demand over supply of goods is called inflation. See here, the supply of goods is a less and the demand of goods is a more. So in that situation, what is happening? More people are chasing too few goods, and in that situation, the price rise of the goods is going to be rise, and that is called inflation. Now, according to ACP view, inflation is said to occur when monetary income rises faster than the real income. See, when there are more money in the market and they are chasing goods, it is called inflation. So according to PQ, this is the definition of inflation. And according to Dr. J.M. Kenyon, the real situation of inflation is created with increase in money income beyond the level of full employment of factor of production. See what is happening when there is a full employment in the economy, and in the full employment, people they are getting more money, and more money, with the more money, people are going to go in the market to take the goods. So in that situation, monetary income is faster increasing than the real income, and in that situation there will be a inflation in the market, and price rise is going to be rise constantly in the market. So this is the definition of the inflation. May you please write down this? Okay, from the above definition, we can see some characteristic of inflation. As we discussed before, that there is a price rise in a economy but that price rise must be constant price rise in the economy. If the price rise is not constant but it is for short period of time due to some other reason, it cannot be said to be inflation. So if we want to understand inflation, we have to see that there is a constant price rise of the things in the economy. So very first characteristic of inflation is a constant rise in a price level is called inflation. The second characteristic is price rise in all sector of economy. As we know, there are three sectors of economy. Very first sector is a agriculture sector. The second sector is a industry sector, and the third sector is a service sector. So if we can see that there is a price rise in any one sector, so that one sector, if the price rise in only one or two sector and for short period of time, that cannot be said to be inflation. To prove inflation, we have to see that there is a constant price rise, and that price rise must be for the all sector of the economy. So this is the second characteristic of inflation, that the price rise should be for the all sector of economy. The third characteristic is purchasing power decreases. That means the purchasing power of the money should be decreasing. That means the value of money should be decreasing. If we can see, let's say the example. If we are buying one house right now, and the price of that house is, let's say, 10 lakh, and the same house, if we are going to buy after 5 years, the price should be increased. So there should be a price should be increased, and because the price is increased because of the inflation. So here the purchasing power of the money should be decreased. Then and then only we can say that there is a inflation in the economy. So the third characteristic of inflation is price purchasing power should be decreases. The fourth characteristic of inflation is the rise in price rise level after the full employment is inflation. See what is happening if the full employment is not there in the economy. If the unemployed people will get the employment, and when they are going to get the employment, and after getting employment with the income, they are going to go for purchase the things. If they are going to purchase the things, and because the more demand of the goods in the economy, there will be a price rise. So that price rise cannot be said to be inflation. But if after the full employment, and then also if there is an increase in price of the commodity, that is called inflation. So after the price, after the full employment, if inflation is there, that is said to be inflation. So these are the characteristics of the inflation. And from the above discussion of definition and characteristic, we can say we can derive some point of the inflation. In that, very first thing is if government is going to suppress inflation, that means government is going to make some act or law to reduce the inflation, that is called suppress inflation. The second point is the price rise of all sector of economy should be constantly increasing. If for a short period of time, if the price rise is increasing, it cannot be said to be inflation. So here we can derive some point of the inflation. Okay. So from the definition of inflation and characteristic of inflation, we can also come to know there are some causes, and because of that there is an inflation. So we are going to see causes of inflation. In the causes of inflation, mainly there are two causes of inflation, that is increase in a demand and increase in a cost of production. So these are the two main reasons of inflation. So increase in demand means what? When there is an increase in demand of goods in the market, in that situation there will be inflation in the economy. So increase in demand, in that why there is a increase in demand of goods. So in that very first reason of increase of demand is increase in the supply of money. When there is an increase in the supply of money, when the people they are unemployed, they will get the employment. So with that money they are going to chase the goods and they will ask for more supply of goods. And in the other hand, if the supply of goods will be less or will be lower than the demand of the goods, so in that situation the aggregate of demand and supply, if the demand is excess than the supply, in that situation we can say that there is a increase in a supply of money, and in that situation we can see that there is a inflation in the market. So very first reason of increase in demand of goods will be the increase in the supply of money. The second factor is an increase in a public expenditure. See, when government incur expenditure on public, that means government can provide jobs to the people, or government can make a infrastructure facility in the country, and because of that there will be a money in the market, and that money will be chasing to the goods, that is called inflation. So when there will be a huge expenditure by government for the welfare of public, in that situation public will be having more money in their hands, and with that money they will chase the goods and there will be inflation in the market. So second reason of increase of demand of goods will be increase in a public expenditure. The third reason of increase in the demand, as we know that when there is a more population will be asking for more goods and services. So when there is a overpopulation in the country, that overpopulation will be asking more goods. So that is the third reason of increase in the demand of a goods. So these are the factors that is affecting increase in the demand of a goods in a market. So that's why it is called demand pull inflation, because the demand is pulling this inflation. So it is called demand pull inflation also. So these are the reason for inflation in the market. This is the very first increase in a demand. The second one is a increase in the cost of production. As we know, when there is a increase in the cost of production, that cost of production will be increasing price, as all the cost of production will be added to the market price of the things. So here when there will be a increase in the cost of production, that will be also increasing the inflation in the market, as let's say raw material, if the price of raw material or electricity or labor will be increased, that increase straight increase the price of the things, and that will be leading to the inflation. So this increase in the cost of production is also called cost push inflation. That means when there is a increase of cost, that will be leading to the increase of price of the economy. That is also called supply shock inflation. So these are the other name of the increase in the cost of production. That is cost push inflation and supply shock inflation. So these are the main two reasons of inflation in the economy. But there are some other reasons also that can cause the inflation. In that, very first is a taxation policy. If the government is going to rise the tax, then the rise of tax can lead to the rise of the price in the market. So when there will be a increase in a tax, that tax will lead to the inflation. So that is the very first reason. And the second reason is a increase in a price of import. As we know that there is a 70% of petroleum product we are importing in our country. So if the import of the price of the import will be increased, that will be leads to the increase in a price of the goods, and finally it If the material, raw material or electricity or something will be scarce, will be having scarcity in the market, then the price of that goods will be increasing, and that will lead to the inflation. But these are the other reasons that can give spike in the inflation for short period of time, and it cannot be for long period of time. So these are the main two reasons, that is increase in the demand and increase in the cost of production are main two reasons that can causes inflation in the market. Thank you students. You may write down this.